Welcome to a deep dive into the latest Tesla developments on whether you should be buying a Cybertruck, aka spending your money on something that may or may not go up in value and have a key that maybe or maybe not look like this, or should you actually spend your money on Tesla stock with something like this to yield you bigger returns? I don't know. Which one? Today we're going to see. We're going to go over three different things today. We're going to go over Tesla stock performance, the Cybertruck, and I'm going to give you an investment analysis. So first off, Tesla stock performance. Let's look at that. So since the beginning of the year, Tesla stock is down 27%. As you see here on the screen, it's down about $68. We can see when the Cybertruck was announced back in 2017. But this year, as far as Cybertruck goes, since the beginning of the year, they've started delivering, we're down about 27%. So not good, but it's not totally just from a Cybertruck standpoint. So again, if you're looking to spend $80,000 or $90,000 on a Cybertruck or stock, we still don't know yet, because the stock being down 27%, what does that look like when it comes to actually the truck, from a truck depreciation value? So let's look at a couple charts I created here. So the first one is, what does the return on investment look like from a Cybertruck to Tesla stock? So first of all, we know the stock's down 27% year to date. The Cybertruck ROI from the first year is down about 20%, and the first year of Tesla stock ROI is up about 30. As we go out 5 years, we see Tesla stock's up about 70. Depreciation asset on a return on investment from a Cybertruck is down almost 50%. We got to the 10-year mark. It becomes very, very easy to read. Another chart I put together is, what's the Cybertruck valuation depreciation equivalent in Tesla stock? So if we start at zero here, 0 years, but we start at $50,000 value. So I give you a $50,000 stack of $50,000. What's based on the number of years from the trailing data we have on the stock to now, what does that look like? Well, it shows that if I gave you $50,000 10 years ago, you would now have close to $150,000. So you would triple your income, triple your profits, so $50,000 to $150,000. In this case, we've got $50,000 on a Cybertruck. It's down to almost $10,000. So you've lost almost 80% of the value. Again, these are charts I put together. I'll have them linked down below. I took all the data that was publicly available on the internet, whether it was from 10Ks from Tesla, whether it was reporting data from Tesla in terms of delivery and the amount that they've delivered so far. Here's the break-even analysis as well, Cybertruck versus Tesla stock. So the break-even is zero. You're at 0 years. So you really only break even in the beginning. So after even 1 year, the depreciation on the Cybertruck value is down. Now, opportunity cost of buying a Cybertruck versus investing in Tesla stock. I really like this chart I put together, because if you look at the Tesla stock, if you look at the Cybertruck value, so let's say it's $50,000 here, it continues to go down every year while the Tesla stock continues to go up. So your opportunity cost just gets bigger and bigger with every year that you own the car. What I haven't factored into any of this is, and I'm sure someone's going to comment down below and say it is, what's the fun cost, right? Because having stock, I can't drive it. I can't, I can't use it as a truck to run errands. I can't use it for business. I can continue to maybe borrow from it. I can do margin. I can buy from it and use margin from a Tesla stock. If I had $100,000 in Tesla stock, I may be able to borrow against that, but the opportunity cost here from terms of fun is not something that I've factored in. So something to be cognizant of here is there's always that factor there, that X factor that you may not have and you may not understand when it comes to purchasing an asset like a Cybertruck. So sentiment analysis across Tesla events. This is something I put together I thought was very interesting. So if you go over here and you look at the Model S launch, mostly positive, some neutral. Model X launch, predominantly positive. Model 3, very positive. Cybertruck was not as positive as the Model 3 or the Model Y, which I thought was interesting. It's more positive than the X and the S, but the most positive we've seen in terms of relating to the stock and relating to the purchase price is the Model Y. So sentiment analysis comparison across those events shows that the Model Y has a much more positive sentiment analysis than any of the other cars in the Tesla lineup outside of the Roadster, which I did not put in here. Let me zoom in on this just real quick. So sentiment analysis for Cybertruck announcement, break it down a little bit more. 60% positive, 25% neutral, 15% negative. Now, if you look at this chart here, this is a sentiment flow visualization. So before Cybertruck, the announcement, there was high volume in terms of positive sentiment. There was moderate volume in terms of neutral, and there was low volume in terms of negative. If we go after Cybertruck announcement, there was increased volume on the negative side, there was decreased in neutral, and there was actually increased volume on the positive sentiment. So before the Cybertruck launch, there was very little positives. There was a high volume of positive sentiment. As we go after the Cybertruck, we'll see increased volume from a negative sentiment. So interesting to see how people were really jacked up at the Cybertruck in the beginning before the announcement, and after the announcement was brought out, we saw what the car would do. That sentiment went down. And this is another chart I put together. This is the last one here before we go back and make a decision and go over the investment analysis. But this is Tesla stock price and significant events. So as we look over the past almost 14, 15 years, we see on 6/29/2010 they IPO'd at $17. We see the Model S launch a couple years later at $35 a share. September 29th of 2015, a few years later, we see it $240. So we see almost an 8-fold increase in the stock price. Then we move on to the Model 3, we go to the Cybertruck announcement. So when it was announced in 2019, Tesla stock was $354, not adjusting for split, of course, which it did split. But at the time it was $354. The Model Y launched in 2020, it was $580. And when Tesla released full self-driving beta, the stock was at $900 again. That's pre-split. So we see what each announcement's done, and we see, where the stock went in just a few short years from $354 to $580. This was 11/21/2019. This is 129 2020. This is only 2 months later, and the stock went from $354 up to $580. That's a huge increase just off significant events of talking about a new car, a new automobile that was being released into the market. All right, so we talked about this Tesla stock price. Let's look at some of the deliveries. So they actually, this is article that was released very recently, is it delivered more Cybertrucks in 4 months than Hummer EVs sold last year, which is not surprising. But Tesla, doesn't break out its sales figures by specific model yet. But a new recall for every Cybertruck has delivered 3870 electric trucks since December. Up until April 4th. So, if you look at that over the overall truck market, where Chevy and Ford do hundreds of thousands of trucks a year, delivering, almost 4,000 electric trucks isn't a big deal, but it is a big deal for Tesla, and it shows that things are starting to ramp up. And as they do that, things will, maybe the price of those things will not level off as much. And when we looked at the axis here of what it could potentially look like, we go back to this chart, maybe the break-even point won't be zero. Maybe it'll be, a year or 2 years or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say, but maybe the return on investment will be a little bit better, less than 50% off after the 5th year. Maybe it's only 30 or 20, etc. Teslas have held their market value very well over the years. I want to say that as well, that even though, buying a new vehicle, automatically drive it off the lot, you're automatically losing money. I will say Teslas generally hold their value extremely, extremely well. So what's the final verdict here? So my final verdict is, I'm sure everyone knows, I would buy Tesla stock over Cybertruck for a couple reasons. One, it's liquid. I can get my money out and use it on something else while still appreciating the gains. Two, I could always borrow against it. If I wanted to buy a Cybertruck, I could borrow against that stock or take some money out of that to buy a Cybertruck. Or number three, I can just keep the money in Tesla stock, get it high enough, take money out, take the 80, 90,000 out, and then buy a Cybertruck with that while keeping my original investment in the Tesla stock. So I don't think it's I don't think it's an or. I think it could be an and. You could have the stock and have a Cybertruck. You could have the Cybertruck and stock. But if you're looking to just make one investment, I would say just buy the stock and then move on. Don't even worry about buying a Cybertruck now unless one, you need it for your business, or two, you just have excess funds that you're looking to allocate. So hope you enjoyed this video. I put together these charts. Make sure and link them down below. Let me know which one would you buy, Tesla Cybertruck or Tesla stock. And as always, don't forget to design your financial freedom. Take care. Bye-bye.